What else could we call it?
We lost this game because of the poor batting. We didn't do like the way we normally did, so we lost it with the bat. We didn't do like any overconfidence. We just didn't go away.
Sports radio. What else could we call it?
Meanwhile, in the world of wrestling, former president of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, has revealed that the country is set to make its international debut on beach wrestling starting from the 2026 Youth Olympic Games in Dakar. Igali confirms that the sport has been introduced at the ongoing National Wrestling Championship as the country has set its sights at participating at senior level during the 2032 Olympics.
Sports radio. What else could we call it?
At the Youth Games in Senegal, we have the Youth Olympic Games. We have beach wrestling as a sport. The International Federation, of which I'm a member, has the intentions to have beach wrestling as a sport at the 2032 Olympics. So we have started it. And this is the new addition. This is the first time ever at any national championships we are having beach wrestling as an event.
Sports radio. What else could we call it?
And still from the home front this afternoon, where former Nigerian international Gordon Okpara has stated that he expects an improved performance from the Super Eagles when they next face against Jordan tomorrow, urging them to score more goals. Speaking to Net, Okpara revealed that he wasn't really impressed by the display against Iran, and they need to improve, particularly in converting their chances.
Radio. What else could we call it?
For me, really, I wasn't so happy with the match against Iran. We were supposed to match much better, but win is a win. That's the most important thing. Well, for me, if we can step up our game against Jordan, I think we will get more goals. Because when you look at our team, the team is more balanced now than before. And I hope the team will continue the way they are playing now for now.
Sports radio. What else could we call it?
Well, Adam Obasile, my reaction to that friendly on Friday, we won that friendly 2-0.
2-1.
2-1, sorry, yes, 2-1, yes. 2-1, that particular game ended on Friday. And yes, we have another one tomorrow against Jordan. However, Gordon Okpara says that they need to improve, they need to be able to convert more of their chances. But you saw that game, or perhaps saw highlights of that particular game, reaction to Nigeria's victory against Iran on Friday.
Yeah, the Iran game, it is what it is, I guess. They got the job done. I guess you would say they were efficient. They knew exactly what it is that they wanted to do, and they made it work. Things can still be improved, but at the same time, anything can still change. It's always about going from one to another. It's always about, going from strength to strength at the end of the day. It's always about, making sure that going forward, you are better than your last performance. It was a good start, but of course they have to continue. They have to, be better than what it is that they currently have. But the Super Eagles can be part of their efforts. The Jordanian game would not be easy. I'll tell you now for free. It will still, of course, have its difficulties. And now, I mean, you can't exactly tell what comes next, but they have to face it regardless. The Super Eagles, of course, have work to do. That one they know for sure. I would say exactly what it is that they can do tomorrow. So yeah, for him to demand and say, better performance than what it is, he says we've seen what it is that they can do. They need to score more goals and everything. Of course, it's just urging them. It's just natural for you as a fan, or in this case, as an ex-player, to want to see even better. It's natural to demand more. It's just human nature. They've done one, you're impressed. Of course, you want to carry on from there. You want to see how better, how high they can climb. So that's just it.
Well, away from that particular one, still from the home front, where former Super Eagles striker Odion Ighalo has said that Victor Osimhen was right not to lower his wages in order to join European giants. Osimhen was close to joining Chelsea from Napoli in the past, but the two parties could not reach an agreement, and he ended up moving to Galatasaray in Turkey. Ighalo believes his compatriot made the right decision, as the offers he received undervalued his worth. Players not as good as him earn more and were offering less.
Sports radio. What else could we call it?
They have to give him what he deserves, you understand? Because check the numbers of strikers that is scoring goals today, doing well today. You want to tell me out of, you mentioned 3 strikers in this world, you won't mention Victor Osimhen? It's a lie now. But it's we Africa that bring our own down. English player, they don't do 1/4 of what Victor is doing. They will be ringing his name every day on social media. But we Africans, we like to bring our own down. It's our mentality. See the goals, how many games he has played. how many games he has scored. He's doing it in Champions League. He's doing it in the league. Every tournament he plays, he's doing it. In his national team, he's scoring goals.
True.
Every stage, you can pick a world-class striker. He's scoring goals there. He's doing it. They want him to take peanuts to go to England. We spoke when he was having issues with Napoli and all that. He told me what Chelsea were offering him. You understand? You don't call it want a player that scoring goals doing well to bring down his wages. Yeah. You're going to get his image right and all that. Then you're going to pay him peanuts. No. That's what they consider as world-class. Yeah, he deserves what he's asking for, because some players that is playing there, they don't do half of what he's doing, and they are getting ×2 of what he's getting.
Yes.
And you want him to just come there to play. It's not done that way. He has shown it. Look, the strikers in Premier League now, and it say if Victor Osimhen go there, won't score goal. One thing I love about him, me as a striker, I can't play the way Osimhen is playing. He plays with his life, like he put everything online. You can't get Osimhen in your team and you won't work. And you see the unless he's injured or he can't play. So if you are getting a player like that, you are getting all-round player that is going to sacrifice. So that's why I see some teams there in Premier League, maybe because it's Nigerian or because I don't want to use that terms, you understand? That's why they don't want to spend that money and get him. But if you spend that money and get him, I'm guarantee you it's a guaranteed striker that will give you goals. Not only goals, it will work hard for you.
Sports Radio. What else could we call it?
Well, Adam Baba Suleiman, it was here in the studios that Audio and Judy Gallo made that statement. We heard it, it was loud, it was clear, and of course it says, in hindsight, it says, indeed he made the right decision, not to take a pay cut to join, quote unquote, some of these big clubs in the Premier League or in Europe, La Liga, wherever it is, after his deal with Napoli, came to an end, and he had to, make a move to another club. So, but when you look at it in hindsight right now, currently plays for Galatasaray, as you know already, do you agree with Odion Gallo that indeed Victor Osimhen made the right decision by not taking a salary cut to join a Premier League club?
See, if they need you, they will pay. That's the one thing I realized. Always make sure that you are doing good by yourself, or you are doing right by yourself, whatever the situation is. And I think that's just what it is that Victor chose to do at the time. He just did what was right by him. Of course, wants to play in the Premier League, but at the same time, just because I'm desperate to do something doesn't mean I'll do it for cheap. I still deserve to be paid properly, and I still deserve to be compensated properly. Hence what he did. So yeah, I don't think I'll look back in hindsight and I'll tell him, you did what was right for you. At the end of the day, one thing I know for sure is, even with the current form, with what he's still delivering, with what he's still delivering with Galatasaray, if those guys still need his services, they would understand what it is that has to be done. He's not exactly playing. It's not like he moved to Galatasaray and then he dropped in form or anything like that. He's still delivering the numbers. He still does very well for himself. And at the end of the day, every European team that in the European stages as well, one thing that has also been obvious in Galatasaray's Champions League run, although it's over now, is that whenever they did not have him on the pitch, you could tell that they were not exactly themselves. You could tell that there was something missing in the Galatasaray setup. So you realize how essential he is. You realize what exactly he is worth to Galatasaray. And now I promise you one thing. Knowing fully well that I am in the driver's seat, if any one of them comes back and tells me we want to negotiate, we want to bring me to the club, I'm asking for more than I asked for before.
Oh, well.
I am asking for more than what I asked for before. Because now you are coming back for the second time. I am in the driver's seat. You don't get how you want to do it. If you want to pay,
he's had a good season at Galatasaray. Yeah.
If you still don't want to pay, I am more than happy to stay in Turkey. That's the one. I think that's another thing that also works in his favor. He is more than happy to stay back in Turkey. He loves the place. He's talked about how the people they have treated him right, how they treated his family and everything. He already is comfortable where he is, and he earns good money while at it, as a matter of fact. So if you want me to move from where I'm earning good money at right now, bigger league or not, you are going to pay me. And you are not paying me what Turkey is paying me. You are paying me Premier League standard money. You see me as one of the best strikers in the world. So you will pay me like one of the best strikers in the world. Simple.
Well, it's a conversation I would love to get your reaction to when the phone lines are open as well. Odion Jude Igalo says it was the right decision from Victor Osimhen not to reduce his wages. He says, yes, he was right. Not to reduce his wages, to move to any of the Premier League clubs or any of the European giants, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, those clubs that came, for him that particular time and wanted him to reduce his wage to be able to join their club. He says, no, actually, that Osimhen, was right to make that particular decision. He says, he was being undervalued, and if indeed they understood the worth of Osimhen, they would have been able to pay more and even, pay what he was asking for. Asa then, when I was trying to make a move from Napoli to any club. Right now, he plays with Galatasaray, having a fantastic time, right there in the Turkish Super League. But some people still feel that, well, I mean, the other day was it Jamie Redknapp who was suggesting that at the end of the season, Osimhen should find a way and make a move to one of the clubs in the Premier League or even, in the Spanish La Liga. So there are people who still think, oh, he needs to play in the Premier League, he needs to play for a club in La Liga, he needs to play somewhere in the German Bundesliga, one of the big clubs out there. So when you look at it right now, having the time of his life at Galatasaray, helped the team to get to the round of 16 of the Champions League. Eventually got knocked out. But yes, of course, we know they're also in pole position to win the Turkish league as well. When you look at it in hindsight, what Osimhen is doing for Turkey, doing for Galatasaray right there in Turkey, would you indeed say that Victor Osimhen, according to, and of course, Odion Ighalo, who says Victor Osimhen made the right decision by not taking a salary cut to join a Premier League club? Did he, looking at it right now, to say he made the right call? But Adam, away from the home front, and then we're going to open the phone lines and hear from my listeners out there. I think it's no longer news for most people. Yes, no longer news that Igor Tudor has left his role as the manager of Tottenham Hotspur by mutual consent. By the way, lost his father, and I think other factors also, led to Tottenham Hotspur agreeing together with him to let him go officially. The one question people are asking is, what is next for Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, when Igor Tudor was there, we were asking questions. Who's going to be the next manager? Can Igor Tudor save them? So many questions asked as to his capability to help Tottenham Hotspur, survive the relegation battle. But eventually, he has left his role. And according to reports, Roberto De Zerbi could be the next manager for the team. By the way, Timothy Alan Sherwood, a former Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa manager, has also come out to make himself available. Yeah, Tim Sherwood says if he is appointed as Tottenham Hotspur manager, he would save Tottenham Hotspur. But it's not amongst the candidates, Adam, it's not among the candidates that are reportedly linked to Tottenham Hotspur. The one name reportedly linked to Spurs is the name of Roberto De Zerbi. I mean, Roberto De Zerbi linked to that job. Can he actually save Spurs? Is it for you the right manager for that job?
Can anybody save? I think right now Tottenham are just trying everything that they can. It's not a De Zerbi situation. It's not this person's situation. Tottenham right now are in 1,000 different shades of God knows what. It's bad, and it keeps getting worse. I think that's as simple as I can put it. Igor Tudor has now left. The name, of course, the name now coming up is a certain Roberto De Zerbi, a certain Italian manager. And I think I'm very happy for the gaffer. As a matter of fact, I like the idea of De Zerbi back in the Premier League. You saw what he did with Brighton and Hove Albion at the time. Of course, he earned him a bigger move. And of course, that got him to Olympique de Marseille. And even with Marseille doing very well for himself, as a matter of fact. Coming back to the Premier League is not a bad idea. De Zerbi coaching Tottenham is also not a bad idea. De Zerbi coaching Tottenham at this point in time is where the ultimate headache lies. Is where the ultimate question lies. De Zerbi is coming into a pressure cooker moment. De Zerbi literally has, believe it or not, even if he signs the contract today and says, I want to take over the job, he has 7 days. He has 7 games to determine if he wants to continue. 7 games will determine if he stays next season or not. Because one thing I think from Roberto De Zerbi's part would be, one thing for sure is simple. Mission number 1 is save the club. If Tottenham end up relegating under his spell, they would probably hang him as the guy that got them that worsened the situation.
Would they really hang him?
There is a nice chance.
Would they really hang him? There is a nice chance
they would hang it on him, because at the end of the day, you were the one in charge when the moment of realization came. I think they would hang it on him. I know it's been bad from Thomas Frank to Igor Tudor, but at this point in time, I'll tell you one thing for free. To be very honest, it feels like no serious manager would want to touch Tottenham with a 10-foot pole right now. That is how bad they are. Tottenham are like hot lava. Nobody is there is a giant keep off sign on the Tottenham job. But De Zerbi feels like it's something that, of course, he wants to do. 7 games. Let's see exactly what it is. If indeed he signs the contract, 7 games to save himself.
Do they need a short-term fix?
Naturally, it's what I would have gone for. It's what I would have gone for.
A long term. Let's just De
Zerbi kind of sounds like a guy you start. De Zerbi sounds like a guy you start a project with. De Zerbi sounds like a guy you start a project with, like from ground up. Look at what he did when he was in Sassuolo at the time. Look at what he did with Brighton and Hove Albion. Look at what he's doing with Olympique de Marseille as well currently. I don't think De Zerbi is the kind of guy that you want to put in and say 7 games get it done, which is exactly what it is. Back in the good days, this is the kind of job you call a man like Big Sam. You call a man like Big Sam. You call a man like Sean Dyche for a job like this. But Big Sam is old now. I don't think that's going to happen. Sean Dyche was a name that I know came up at some point, but whatever happened, I guess would never know. Now I'm looking at Roberto De Zerbi and I'm telling myself, I don't think I've ever seen De Zerbi come in such a situation. It's a very, very tricky one, and I wish him the very best if he takes the job. But at the end of the day, it's a plank 50-50. De Zerbi could actually excel at it or fail at it. But one thing is certain: if he fails at it, I think they will hang it on him and say De Zerbi was actually one of the reasons. I think they would hang it on him. I know it's been bad beforehand, but I think they will hang it on him.
Well, is Roberto De Zerbi the savior Tottenham Hotspur are actually looking for? He is the very first name linked to that Tottenham Hotspur job following the exit of Igor Tudor. And so far so good. It's just 1 point. 1 point separating Tottenham Hotspur, who are 17th on the Premier League standings, and West Ham United, who are 29th. Do you really think there is any manager at this point who can save Tottenham Hotspur? Would it be Roberto De Zerbi linked to that job, or any other manager out there that can save them, from getting relegated? Do they actually need a short-term, solution, or a long-term appointment? Maybe, Adam, that's another thing you look at. Should they bring someone on an interim basis, or someone, regardless of what happens, whether we're going to the championship? Let's be with you.
Yeah, I think they should have.
Because short term is like interim. What they wanted to do with Igor Tudor, right?
7.
Let's keep you interim basis. Eventually, work out, they let him go. So should that be the focus? Let's get someone who will just see us through the 7 games left, or someone that, regardless of whether we get to the championship or not, let's rebuild with this manager and see what Tottenham Hotspur can be in the future.
Well, I guess we'll find out what it is that they want to do. I would say, like I said already, I think they should have gone for a short term. But it looks like they have what it is. It looks like they already have what it is that they want to do. It looks like they already have something in their minds that they plan to achieve. It looks like they already have something that's on their mind that they want to achieve. If they go for Roberto, fine, that's good for them. If they don't, well, if they don't go for him, and of course, they get maybe a man that can save them in 7 games, of course, that works. But Roberto is somebody I would have naturally assumed would come in next season. Look at what happens this season. If you are saved this season, sure.
If you're in a championship, I don't think Roberto would want to go to championship.
If you are not in the championship, I'll tell you one thing. That's why I said something. I said, De Zerbi, as a matter of fact, if Tottenham relegates under his spell, even if he comes in now and they relegate under him, nice chance the young man might not actually stay back. It's probably going to be a clause. It's probably going to be a clause in his contract right now that says, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that in his contract clause that says, if they relegate, I'm leaving. If they stay, of course, we can carry on from there. Also, Tottenham are going to be paying extra right now, in the sense that one thing is almost certain: if Tottenham do sign De Zerbi right now, there is going to be a clause in that contract that says, when I save this club from relegation, you are paying me a certain amount. And by a certain amount, I mean a certain interesting figure to say relegation, survival bonus, something like that.
I get.
So things
I
like that.
think any manager coming in now,
So it's almost like going to be a
win.
win-win for De Zerbi or anybody. Yeah. But for a man like De Zerbi, it's going to be there. It's almost going to be like a win-win. That's kind of contract I think he will negotiate. If I come in and I say the club, you pay me this amount for survival bonus. If I come in and I don't say the club, you don't pin it on me, and I get to leave regardless.
However it is, I think one thing is
it's a win-win for De Zerbi.
Any manager that comes into Spurs at this point in time would definitely milk Spurs.
Oh, of course.
You have to find a way so you don't lose out, because it's a high-pressure job. 7 games at the end of the season. If you're coming in, whether or not Tim Sherwood has said if he comes, he's going to save them, or Wayne Rooney or whoever it is linked to that particular job. I'm just saying, because anybody can easily say, I'm going to save Tottenham Hotspur. Promise to save them, because you know that eventually you're going to get paid. And the chances that you're not going to get pinned for it, they're very slim, because there was a Thomas Frank there, there was an Igor Tudor there. But like I asked earlier on, do you think indeed Roberto De Zerbi is the man for the job, the savior that Tottenham Hotspur are looking for to save them from getting and dropping to the championship? But before we get to the phone lines and hear from you, let's talk about your club, Barcelona. Reports have indicated that Robert Lewandowski is set to decide his future with Barca. In fact, reports have said as well that there is a new deal on the table for Lewandowski. Barcelona open to offer him a new deal, 1 more season, but on reduced salary. Now, also, European clubs, Saudi clubs, and especially MLS sides are already in contact with Robert Camp And so Barcelona are willing to give him 1 more year contract. Robert has to decide if he wants to stay back at Barcelona or not. The decision is up to Robert Lewandowski to decide if he wants to stay back 1 more year or perhaps make a move to Saudi or MLS or any of the clubs that they find him in Europe as well. But he's not having the best of time at Barca. I mean, don't you think indeed for Lewandowski, Barcelona should not even be offering him a 1 year contract?
Genuinely, I think it's the perfect time to let him go.
Okay.
He's done very well. And I mean, Robert Lewandowski will remain one of those strikers that I deeply appreciate what it is that they've offered to the club in times past. He's been very, very solid for the club. And the numbers, of course, speak for him as well to show you that Robert Lewandowski over time in Barcelona is definitely one that can look in hindsight and tell himself, I did well, I did my bit. And Barca can also respect the fact that the man, until the very last moments of his contract, until the very last moments as a Barca player, did very well and, of course, honored the badge until the very death. But I think it's time to move on. I'm looking at a 37-year-old man, which means by the time you offer him another year, you're looking at 38. Now, I know that in some cases, some strikers are that elite that they can run until that very... And Robert Lewandowski, in my own opinion, starts as one of those elite class. But I think you can easily tell that there is a decline in the output that guy offers to the club. It's obvious. We keep talking about how Ferran Torres misses a lot of chances in the Barcelona team. And, big chances missed and all of that. I don't think we pinpointed as well to actually, look at it. Robert Lewandowski is not exactly a saint in this situation. Now, I know strikers miss chances a lot. It happens. But the output that Robert Lewandowski was given in 22-23 when he first joined, in 23-24 which was the season after, even last season, you can tell it's not the same as this season. Age is starting to tell. He goes into duels these days, and even if he wins the ball, he can't put it under proper control anymore. Even the ones that he loses, you just look at them and be like, what exactly is going on? It's just age. It's biology. His body is giving way. It's just natural. I don't mean this to shade anybody, but it's obvious that the guy is not what he used to be. He's not 25 anymore. He's not 30 anymore. He's not 33 anymore. He's not 35 anymore. He's 37. It's natural for his body to not be the same.
Any top striker that Barca wants to bring in, it's going to cost them. So
at some point they were going to have to spend money. They're also
looking at saving some money. Let's give him one more year contract. Because even with a 1 year contract, they want to reduce his salary. So imagine, because I've seen Barca fans who are hoping that they get Julian Alvarez into that team. I don't even see Victor Osimhen to Barcelona. But these guys are going to cost the club. They're going to cost the club. So why not?
They don't have money. I'm not arguing against that. But at some point, you need to get the checkbook out and you need to do it. You just have to do it at some point. You can't keep swingling along and eating, just using the whole storyline of we don't have money. You've been making money for the past 2 or 3 years now. What are you doing with the money? What exactly are your finances looking like? Again, I'm not an accountant, but I'm just trying to point some facts out. I think Barca at some point would have to come to the reality that it is time to spend money at some things. Barca hit the Champions League semi-finals last season, and somewhere in the back of their minds, they are hoping to equal that or even go one step further and say you want to make the final, you want to hit that particular, you want to break into, you want to win the Champions League again after 11 years of the last time you took it. You look at what other big clubs are presenting as strikers today. City have Erling Braut Haaland, Bayern have Harry Kane, Real Madrid have Kylian Mbappe, PSG they have the current Ballon d'Or holder in Ousmane Dembele, Arsenal have a certain Victor Gyökeres. Say what you want to say about these numbers and all of that, but still stands as one of Chelsea have João Pedro. All of these big clubs have their headline boys. Liverpool have Ugo Ekitike or Alexander Isak, as the case may be, however you look at it. All I am saying is that none of these guys that I have mentioned are 30 years of age. None of these guys are 30. They are agile. They are in their best years. They are in what can we define as their prime. Barca are out here using an 18-year-old Lamine Yamal or an 18-year-old Lamine Yamal who is still getting there. A Rafinha who is in his prime right now. A Pedro who is currently in his prime behind him. Dani Olmo, Fermin Lopez. These boys are hitting numbers and are playing football that defines as prime. But the man spearheading the attack is past his prime. One thing looks wrong in the Barca setup, and I know it has not maybe appeared as a big problem just yet, but at some point maybe it's a crucial game, you misses a big chance, you lose the game, and then all of a sudden you start. No, at some point you have to close your eyes and just do it. Robert Lewandowski has spent, this is his 4th season with the club. He has been an absolute servant. His numbers speak for him. First season, he had it a little bit slow. Second season, he was hitting 40-something goals. The third season, of course, last season, he was hitting another 20-something, 30-something goals, all competitions. This season, I am in March. March is going to end tomorrow, and Robert Lewandowski does not have 20 goals for Barcelona in all competitions. It tells you that he's not the same
for
anymore.
the 1-year contract.
What's
Let
the
him go.
point?
Let him go. If you're a Barca fan, I would love to hear from you as well. Should Barcelona stick with Robert Lewandowski or move on from him and look for other options out there? This could be in a bid to manage their funds, because yes, according to reports, they want to give him a 1-year contract, a new deal, and even with the fact that it's a 1-year contract, it would come with a reduced salary for Robert Lewandowski. But yes, Adam says his numbers are reducing. It's not a Robert they signed, from Bayern Munich. So do you think indeed Barca are making decisions in the right direction, that Robert Lewandowski should, continue with the club, or maybe it's high time they let him go, let him find, a club somewhere else in the MLS, in the Saudi Pro League, or maybe, who knows, another club in Europe as well? But do you think, as a Barca fan, that it's a right decision, a right step by Barca, to want to give him one more year, on his contract? Adam, just before we get to the phone line, Sandro Tonali has been linked to Manchester United. Man, you are working hard on a deal to sign him. Your thoughts on that?
Interesting stuff. They are losing Casemiro. They are scrapping out all of the options. A lot of names have come up, and yes, that one, of course, that one looks like, if there was ever a list, or if there was ever a priority list right now for United, I think he stands as number 1.
Tonali.
It looks like Tonali is number 1 on their midfielders target list. There's been links to Bruno G, there's been Elliot Anderson, there's been Adam Wharton, but it looks like Sandro Tonali is number 1 on their list. I saw the concern and I saw the conversation about it, which I think Tonali is a kid that can deliver for them. I think he has what it takes. Tonali is a player that I respect a lot, and take it from a guy that has a soft spot for AC Milan. When he left the midfield, what he did, of course, Sandro Tonali was the kid who formed a base and did very well for Milan. When he ended up moving to Newcastle, I was kind of heartbroken, but he did well for Newcastle as well, which also was something I had a fear for. Italian player, all of a sudden you move from AC Milan, you move to the Premier League. There's always questions about, can you really survive the intensity? Can you survive, the Premier League and all of that? But in his 2-3 years with Newcastle, he has shown that he can definitely mix it up with one of the best. And with all due respect to Newcastle, he was kind of coming. They were bound to lose him. You can't keep. So
for you, he's going to be the right midfielder for
you can't keep greatness. You can't keep the kid away from greatness. Newcastle have a ceiling that they can hit. United kind of sit above that. A big club would always be a big club. So if they indeed do come for Tonali, I don't think he would say no. And I think he has what it takes, of course, to do what Casemiro used to do: break the lines, progress the ball, and when situations warrant it, be in good attacking positions to actually get the goals. I think he has all of that in him, and I think he can definitely mix it up, of course. And when it comes to United midfield setup, well, United, of course, needs to understand that getting Tonali is just you replacing Casemiro. You still need to beef up that squad a bit more. So don't buy Tonali and just relax and say we are good to go. You need more than just one midfielder to buy.
Let's open the phone lines and hear from you. As it concerns Manchester United, yes, reports have linked Sandro Tonali to the club. In fact, reports have said Man U are working hard on a deal to sign him with the Italian midfielder, very highly rated at the club. If you're a Man U fan or not, do you think Tonali is the right midfielder for your club? If you're also a Barca fan, the situation Robert Lewandowski, Barca are willing to give him a 1-year deal with reduced salary. Should he stick? Should Barca, stick with Robert Lewandowski, or would you advise Barcelona to move on from Robert? 37 years of age, and the words of Adam says numbers are dropping. Move on from him and get someone else to be the point man for Barcelona. Is that your advice for Barca as well? Also, yes, we're talking about the words of Odion Jody Gallo, who has, come out to say, indeed, Victor Osimhen made the right decision to not take a pay cut, to not take a reduced salary from the big clubs in Europe. He says that was the right decision. If your club values you, they'll be able to pay a lot of money for you. And so Osimhen making that decision was a step in the right direction. We're looking at it in hindsight right now. Osimhen plays for Galatasaray, so on and so forth. Would you say indeed Odion Gallo is right, that yes, Osimhen made the right decision to not take reduced salary? Would you say he made the right decision to not take a reduced salary? And also for Tottenham Hotspur, yes, Tottenham Hotspur, Roberto De Zerbi has been linked to be the next manager for Spurs. Indeed, do you think he is the man for the job? Can he save Tottenham Hotspur would you advise Spurs to go for a short-term replacement or a long-term replacement? Short-term interim basis, long-term someone they can build with. But do you think indeed Roberto De Zerbi is that man that can save Tottenham Hotspur from getting relegated and dropping to the Championship? Matter of fact, and any manager even save them, because you may hear Roberto De Zerbi today and tomorrow you're going to hear someone else. Can any manager at this point in time save Tottenham Hotspur from dropping to the Championship? 090-44,889, 090-41,889. On WhatsApp is 090-44,889. Those are the phone lines to call, so you can be a part of the conversation. You can react to any of the stories, one of them, two of them, or all of them if you can. Let's hear from you. Roberto De Zerbi, right man for the job. Tonali to mind you, your thoughts on that. Robert Lewandowski set to renew his contract. Right move for Barcelona. And then Odion Judigallo, right move for Seaman to not take a pay cut, to not reduce his salary when clubs, big clubs in the Premier League were coming for him. Hello, welcome. All right, call us back if you can. Yes, call us back if you can. Phone lines are still the same. But it's not just about Sandro Tonali, Adam. Even Elliot Anderson has been linked to that job as well, to replacing Casemiro.
If they can, maybe even get both of them, as a matter of fact, because United need all the bodies they can find. Like I said, signing one is just replacing Casemiro. We've talked about how light they are in that midfield in terms of, personnel. By the time you start playing, Premier League, Carabao, FA, and what looks like potentially Champions League football next season, as it stands for them, it looks like they will make the Champions League as well. So by the time you start handling 4 different fronts at the same time, you can't tell me that every 3 days you want to line up with Bruno, Tonali, and Kobe Mino as every time. You need more bodies. It's just natural.
Okay. Hello, welcome. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Diva and Adam.
Welcome.
I greet you guys. This is Sam United.
Sam, let's go.
See, let me first talk about my darling club, Manchester United.
Proceed.
You see, I like that guy Tonali, but for me, I think we should go for that Tonali and Los Angeles
at the same time.
Both of them. I will not get time. Just both of them. I know going for only Tonali is good, but to play more competition next season. So I think we need more capable bodies in that midfield. And for the question he asked about Tottenham, you see, they are destined to go to relegation. Nobody can save them. If you like, carry Pep Guardiola this year, there is no relegation. Carry Pep Guardiola, take us and come back. If I'm for there, they will still with relegation. Next thing can delay, but you can never be changed. That relegation, they won't go to. They will go and
okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Tottenham Hotspur, Adam. I don't know. I'm going to check how many games they have to the end of the season.
7 games.
7 games to the end of the season.
Brighton, Chelsea, Everton. I know I went through it yesterday. I'm trying to pick it up on the top of my head. But yeah, those are the names. I know that at least Sunderland is the next one, and I think Brighton is afterwards for the Tottenham Hotspur team. They have, a couple of interesting games, of course, to come. Let's pick up on that one quickly. Yes, Sunderland, of course, starts 12th of April. They don't play in the FA Cup, so they don't have any games this weekend. But after Sunderland away, they have Brighton, they have Wolverhampton Wanderers, they have Aston Villa, Leeds United, Chelsea, and Everton.
So Chelsea is the biggest name they have to face this to the end of the season.
Aston Villa also in that.
Okay, Aston Villa there as well. Hello.
Hello, Eva.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. Adam, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Adam, they come to first. Talking about they come to first. You make a decision to do just first. Take big cost for which is in that of form. In that of form, now you're doing well.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about, Jafet? Oh, okay.
And the take big cost to go England go play for big club. For which is now right decision that guy take. My right decision. See, Eva, is it Tottenham? And that last call I talk. They are best in this season. As a good relegation. You understand? Even though say we bring Pep Guardiola, at that time, everybody, all the coach where they can get together. That time go get Tottenham. Tottenham they go relegation this season. Yeah, now. I'm sorry if you.
Okay, all right, thank you. But I think we got your point as well. WhatsApp line is open, phone line is still the same. I think the question is for people who want to see Osimhen for Premier League and the rest of them. If eventually smart transfer window, we are seeing clubs linked to him, I think we are still going to come back to
So
taking
that's
it.
the
They
thing.
might still
As long
come back
as Victor, as long
My
as
own be
Victor
say
keeps
they
doing
might
well
still
in
come back
Turkey,
taking a pay cut.
as long as Victor keeps doing well in it. So for Odion Igalo at the time, I tell you, I think so. Odion Igalo, you know, his own story is even more interesting. He actually did take a pay cut to play in the Premier League. You know, he signed with United, and you know, he took a loan deal, and it was a thing. You know, he even talked about it as
had
well.
to lower his wages,
Even when he
yeah.
came around, he talked about it as well and told the story and everything. Odion Igalo at the time was somewhere, maybe already hitting the twilight of his career, in the sense where you look at when it is that he came to United. He had played in I think he had played for, was it Watford? Or I know he had played in. He had been in and around the place at the time, and he had, you know, played, and he was already in China. So more or less, China suggesting at the time, playing in China, suggesting that
You already
I don't already
wrapping
come
up.
out exactly. I was already leaving. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was correct. You know, played with Udinese, had gone on loan deals, played with Watford for years. As a matter of fact, spent about 3 seasons in England already playing with Watford. The whole United move for him at the time and taking a pay cut was more or less because it was more or less just a bucket list thing. At this stage of my career, United want me, and you know, this is something I've always wanted. Of course, I would want to do that. So it was more like a bucket list thing for him. Victor, when Napoli said, we want to move you on and all of that, it's a case of I am still in my prime. As a matter of fact, Victor's prime was, I think, if I look at his entire career to date, I still think that season where they won the Serie A still stands as Victor's prime in my own opinion. So I'm saying this was a guy that throughout that era, he was the hottest commodity on the market. Not exactly a guy that was. He was not a guy that was just looking to, tick a bucket list. He's a guy that's still intentional about what it is that his career entails. So yeah, I don't just do things just because. I do things because it works for me, not just it happens. So yeah, if in Victor's case, of course that becomes a thing. Oh, just because we can look at that. But as of right now, this is an active footballer at the peak of his powers. No, he didn't do anything wrong by saying say no, and I might as well move somewhere else.
All right, 09044,889, 09041,889. WhatsApp line is 09044,889. Let's hear from you, on the show. Godfather from Aja says Barcelona should offer Robert Lewandowski a new contract as a second striker if they get another number 9, maybe an Alvarez or Seaman or even Aslani, that guy at Tottenham. They've said that Robert Lewandowski will be a better deputy than Ferran Torres if that guy cannot improve, vice versa. All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Ivan Adam. He says on Victor Seaman, indeed, it was the right choice for him to not take a reduced salary to join any of the club in the Premier League. Honestly, I don't think you need to play in the Premier League to be recognized as a world-class striker. Smash back at Turkey and do what he's doing right there. This is for Barcelona. The earlier they move on Robert Lewandowski, the better for them. All right, thank you. That's Chibuzo. And still on WhatsApp, good afternoon, Ivan Adam. He says for Odion Igalo's statement is absolutely correct. He says, okay, all right, thank you. Glory, Arsenal. All right, thank you so much for that particular one. 09044,889, 09041,889. Indeed, when you look at it in hindsight, would you say Osimhen made the right choice to not take a reduced salary, when his deal at Napoli came to an end? Odion Igalo says, indeed, that was the right choice. For Barcelona, they want to give Robert Lewandowski 1 more year contract. And of course, the plan is for him to reduce his salary to be able to sign 1 more year contract. He's 37 years of age. Do you think indeed that is a step in the right direction? Or would you advise Barcelona to move on from Robert Lewandowski? Also, if you're a Man U fan, we're getting reports that Manchester United are interested to sign Sandro Tonali. Yes, Elliot Anderson is also in that particular picture, but they also want to sign him. But then, for Tottenham Hotspur, Roberto De Zerbi has been tipped as the next replacement. He is likely to be the next replacement for Tottenham Hotspur. At this point in time, do you think indeed Roberto De Zerbi, former Olympic Marseille job, former Brighton manager, is the man that can save Tottenham Hotspur? Can any manager even save Tottenham Hotspur from dropping to the championship? They are currently 1 point above relegation, and like Adam mentioned, they have 7 games at the end of the season, big games across the board. Do you think indeed they can survive from getting relegated? Hello, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Please said you're calling.
Welcome, go on.
Yeah, as a United fan, I would love to see Tonali and Gabriel Demarish at Manchester United. I think it would be a good deal that Manchester United will go for both.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is there a possibility where they get signed both at the
That's
same
a
time?
package deal.
Bruno,
You are paying.
Tonali in one smart transfer window.
You will pay
With all
very
this-
good money to
With
Newcastle.
all this, they don't get money. They don't get money.
No. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying Newcastle will charge you a lot. For Tonali alone, I know the number will start from like a 120. Although they'll probably end up paying
In
like
today's
maybe,
market, maybe 80
maybe like an
something.
80 exactly, somewhere in that line. If you're not trying to take two of their most important midfielders away from them, Bruno G and Tonali at the same time, believe me, that package deal is costing nothing less than 150 million. Nothing less than 150 million for both of them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to
Newcastle
see.
players don't come for cheap, by the way. They have a way of
Because at the end, I'll tell you one
they
thing.
don't. They're selling club, but they don't
If
come
you
for
look
cheap.
at what we define as English footballing hierarchy today, I think by the time you look at the top six, the top boys, Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, and those big boys, Chelsea of course, Tottenham right now maybe not so much, but after those guys, when you look at the next set of teams, Newcastle have put themselves very, very perfectly in that position to say the next set. You look at Aston Villa, you look at Newcastle. So if you want to buy out of them, you saw what they did with Isaac. That's a precedence that has been set. If you are coming to buy, come along with the cash. So that's just it. That's what I'm saying. For both of them, you will pay. It's not impossible. And I think Newcastle themselves maybe are not tabling it as a matter, but if I was a Newcastle hierarchy member going into this summer market, I'm looking at a possibility.
That you might lose that player.
They've tried. Those two guys have been there and they've shown that somewhat they have improved beyond Newcastle. Their development plan has shown that they are kind of already getting to that stage where they want to move beyond Newcastle. I don't just want to be fighting for top 4 anymore. I don't just want to be having appearances in the Champions League. I want to start fighting for the trophy, and I want to start fighting for more than just the Carabao Cup that we won for the first time in 50 years. I want to be constantly in the trophy conversation with the best of the best in Europe. It's just natural. What clubs will give me that opportunity? Of course, Manchester United come in the window, and also they can pay me that kind of money that goes beyond what it is that Newcastle are currently offering me. Bruno G, for example, earns somewhere in the lines of 200 grand. United, of course, will now also have to. So aside paying the heavy transfer fee, you start looking at contracts as well. If Bruno G is asking for something beyond 200 grand, you are saying maybe 300. That puts him instantly in somewhere like the top 5 of United's earners. So you pay. If Brentford can charge 70 million for Brian Mbomo,
No wonder Bayern manager talk say Hurricane at 217 million.
You no pay.
I was like, now wow. Today's market don't really spoil. But anyways, like Adam mentioned earlier on, Tottenham's first game when they come back from international break is against Sunderland. They're going to be away from home, and then they're going to take on Brighton at home. Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home on the 25th of April. Take on Aston Villa away from home, and then they're going to take on Leeds United at home. Chelsea away from home. Their last game in the Premier League would be against Everton. So they have how many home games? They have 4 home games, Adam.
Yeah.
4 home games.
But home games are kind of like the most difficult one for them right now, especially because you look at their form at home this season. Absolutely horrible. They've only won like 2 games at home this season. Tottenham have been that terrible at home this season. It's going to take a lot.
They have 4 home games, 4 away games, by the way.
No, that can be right now.
But anyways, Sunderland away from home, Chelsea away from home, Aston Villa away from home, and then Wolves away from home. But anyways, can they actually survive relegation?
I hope they do. At this point,
I think it would be very disastrous.
At this point, it's just a case of I hope they do. Home games, they have Tottenham. They have Brighton, Leeds, Everton. Those are their home games. The other one, Sunderland, Villa, Wolves, and Chelsea are away games for them. So makes things interesting. Let them even start by getting a new manager. Let's even know who it is, because the official communicado just came out and said, whoever will be the next head coach, of course, will be communicated in due time. The good news for them is right after the international window as well, they still have a break that continues. They don't play in the FA Cup anymore, so they have another week to still decide. So they have this week, they have next week before they think of a football game. April 12 is their next game. April 12 from now is another 12-13 days. So they have time, kind of. But yeah, the players are coming back from international break. After for anything from Wednesday, Thursday, you expect arrivals. It will be interesting to see what it is that they make out of the entire thing. We'll see.
All right, we'll take just a few more thoughts on the show if we can. WhatsApp line is open as well. Our phone lines are still the same. React to the situation of Tottenham Hotspur. If you think indeed Roberto De Zerbi is the man for that job, can he save them? Do you see Tottenham Hotspur surviving relegation? Yes, for Barca, go on and get Robert Lewandowski a 1-year contract, or no, let him go. Let him go, and of course, get someone else. And of course, for Odion Jody Gallo says Osimhen made the right choice to not take a reduced salary after his stay at Napoli came to an end. And for Man U, reports have indicated that indeed they have interest to sign Sandro Tonali. Yes, and of course, do you think he would be the ideal midfielder for the Red Devils? On WhatsApp, good afternoon, Eva and Adam. He says that Tonali is indeed a great midfielder for Manchester United. Like someone mentioned, I think if they can get him with Bruno Guimaraes, it would be a good signing for Manchester United. And indeed, we can use these two midfielders to compete for the Premier League next season. Sit on Barcelona, and then another one consign them. Not really consign me. Whatever they want to do, they should do. I just want to see Barcelona not succeed in Europe.
Oh,
all right, thank you. All right, thank you, Olasukumi. Still on WhatsApp, good afternoon, Eva. It says Arsenal will win. We're not talking about Arsenal, please. Don't talk about Arsenal right now.
No.
This one says, good afternoon, Adam 3K. It says, for Odion Jody Gallo, I totally agree with him. Osimhen made the right decision. Our clubs are value, will definitely pay for him. And I think there's much of time window, Osimhen should make a move to a club in the Premier League or even in La Liga. And indeed, they will pay, seeing how much he has been valuable for Galatasaray this season. It says for Tonali, he should come to Man U. Glory, glory, Manchester United. All right, thank you, Taiwo. And still on WhatsApp, good afternoon, Eva. Good afternoon, Adam. Good afternoon, Brilla fans all over the world. It says Mohamed Salah. Okay, we're not done. We're not talking about Mohamed Salah.
We're not talking about Salah, brother.
Okay.
Stay with us.
Hello, welcome. All right, call us back if you can. To wrap up the conversation this afternoon on the show, Adam, Kylian Mbappe has come out to say he's the only club that can. If there's a club that can stop Bayern Munich in the Champions League this season, it's Real Madrid. Yeah.
Well, looks like it. And this is me saying it is them based on the aura that they have, not exactly because I have so much faith in them. And I can already see people typing and saying Adam is a Barca fan, is why I'm hitting on Madrid. No. The problem still remains the same. The problem still persists. I know they beat City and they beat City well, but the higher you go, the higher you rise, the sharper the knives. Bayern present a different type of test. Bayern are not exactly the unstable City. They are not as unstable as City. As a matter of fact, they are very well stable. They are very much stable. They have the
but he could also say they are the best club in Europe. So
I mean, you can make an argument, of course, to say
club that can
indeed. But yeah, Kylian Mbappe, of course, stands as one of the reasons why Madrid could stand a chance. Of course, anything can happen. We'll see exactly what it is.
I think
the game is still a couple of weeks away.
This guy is not going to play. I think Thibaut Courtois has been ruled out for that game. I think he put up a knock.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I remember seeing that. But Andre Lunin actually in times past has shown that he definitely can step up to the pot when summoned upon. He's a very, very good substitute option for Real Madrid. As a matter of fact, very, very crucial to their win, to their last Champions League conquest in 2024. They played against City that year. He went down to penalties, and as a matter of fact, Lunin did make some penalty saves that, of course, got them over the line. So. Yeah, for Real Madrid, they can. It will be an interesting watch. Everything is not set in stone, but as much as Kylian Mbappe, of course, is confident in Real Madrid's abilities to get the job done, I think you would look back and I think you will also look and tell yourself, of course, Bayern are not just going to be a sweep over. It's going to be a different test compared to City. That's for sure. But
in the words of Kylian, it says that Bayern are probably the most informed team in Europe. But if there is a team that can beat them, it is Real Madrid. It's currently the top scorer in the Champions League, by the way. Kylian Mbappe, currently the current top scorer in the Champions League. Of course, he will hope to lead Madrid to victory against the Bundesliga champions. Like Adam mentioned, time will tell who comes victorious in that particular game, whether it's going to be Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. But I think one thing is certain, it's going to be a test of two solid teams. Vincent Kompany against Alvaro Arbeloa. By the way, Alvaro Arbeloa has done great for him. So we'll talk about Alvaro Arbeloa when we come back on Did You Know? Because if you look at what he's done so far, so good. He's won Pep Guardiola. He's won Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, Diego
Simeone. So he's won one of the three managers can consider good managers in Europe this season. You don't mean three of them. So you want to ask yourself, is that man gradually making a case to be a long-term manager for Real Madrid, if he has made a case for himself, to retain that particular job, or even if he can't lay his hands on 1 or 2 trophies at the end of the season, this current season. But that's much we can take on the show. Just this comment on WhatsApp. Good afternoon, Eva. It says for Real Madrid, indeed, I agree with Kylian Mbappe. They are the only team that can't beat Bayern and stop them in their tracks. If Bayern gets to win Real Madrid, then I see Bayern eventually winning the Champions League. All right, thank you, Pascal. That's much we can take on the show. I appreciate the calls and your comments as well. We'll pay some bills right now, by the way, and then take you back to more music. Kotsi DJ Breeze. And when we come back on the show, like I mentioned earlier, when we come back on the show, it would be time for Did You Know? Stick around, go nowhere. It's your Dial of Champions, your frequency of sports Radio Bill FM.